Hi there, this is Dilys Gayan, and welcome to the Inspired Selling Podcast, the place where business owners who sell to bigger businesses discover how to attract, convert, and keep more of their ideal clients on a consistent basis, of course. And yet again, I have another brilliant guest for you today, and that is George Theodosio. I hope I have said that correctly, George.
You have.
George is a cash flow expert, business consultant, and speaker, helping you build your business with game-changing cash flow strategies. So, George, welcome. It's great to have you on today.
Thank you so much, Dilys. It's great to be here.
So let's just get straight into it. And you talk about cash flow as a framework. So just tell us more about that and what cash flow stands for.
Okay, so the framework that is literally the intellectual property to my entire business at every level, whether it's coaching, whether it's speaking, whether it's social media content, whether it's membership, whether it's groups, is all housed in one group, in one system. It's effectively a system that allows business owners to build a business that I refer to as a cash cow business model. And what that means simply is that you're building a business that requires as little maintenance as possible. So it's not completely passive. It obviously requires maintenance, but as low maintenance as possible, but produces consistent profits. So the system that I use is a predictable profit cash flow cycle. So within that, we cover the 8 pillars of great cash flow. Because in my opinion, you cannot be financially successful if you don't have great cash flow.
Oh, completely agree. Yeah. And this is the problem for so many businesses. They suffer from the peaks and troughs of cash flow. You know, they may have a client and then they finish with that client, think, oh, where's my next one? And so it's this consistency. So I love that, George.
Yeah, it's one thing attracting the inquiries. It's one thing selling and closing, which is what you're an expert in and you help your community in. The next level of that is how are you managing that money in your business? How are you putting it to good use? And how are you keeping it? So I've lost count of how many business owners, I've been doing this in one guise or another since 2006. People say, I've got loads of money coming in, I've got loads of money going out, there's not much of it staying. Which is very frustrating for a business owner. And then that has a knock-on effect on their personal life, their relationships, their marriage, their children, health, but we'll come back to that. But so the system effectively focuses on 8 key things, and it's an acronym that spells out cash flow. So the first is clarity, and this is about your purpose. What are you really trying to achieve in life and in your business, and identifying where your profit is. Like the real profit in your business, the hidden profit, the consistent profit, the profit that actually will start to give you that gap, that makes you feel like you're actually making good strides. The A is about attraction. So how to attract the right type of people that you can help the most at the time that you can help them the most, and building out your pipeline consistently. I've got to a stage now, I've been focusing on pipeline as one of my main things for the last 2 or 3 years. But ever since the turn of this year, has been the biggest pipeline that I've had consistently. So I've always got somewhere between 60 and 75 people, business owners, in my pipeline at any one point. That does a number of things for me. It makes me feel good about myself without sounding ridiculous. Sometimes it's easy as a business owner to get down about yourself or about your business when you lose a client or you don't convert that inquiry and you really thought that you had it. And sometimes, people in their minds spend the money before they've got it. So it really, by having a big pipeline, it always makes you feel like, what, I'm gutted that I didn't convert that one, but I've got the next person to call.
Yeah, you're not desperate then.
Yeah,
when you've got that consistent pipeline.
Exactly. Desperation, like you just said, is one of the worst things that you can have in business. But in life even, if you meet someone who's a potential other half for you, and they come across desperate, it's not attractive.
Yes.
Someone at a networking event and they come across as desperate, it's unattractive. You meet someone who potentially you could be friends with. If they're desperate, it doesn't feel great.
Yeah, I agree.
The S in the cash flow is specialism. So this is about positioning yourself as the go-to person that
Yeah.
solves that problem for that group of people, that niche issue, and that also you are where you need to be consistently. So so people know that you're the person to come and see for that particular thing, to have that
Yeah.
thing. And then there's a whole host of benefits that come off the back of that. Not only will you have more inquiries that come into your pipeline, you will be in a position to be able to convert quicker and easier for more money, because you've positioned yourself in that potential client and then subsequently client's mind. There's a better chance of longevity of doing business with you, consistent business. There's more chance that that relationship's going to be more fruitful, which means you can get more testimonials. There's more chance that you're going to get referred a lot more. So position yourself as the person that solves that problem, rather than trying to be everything to everyone. You end up being nothing to no one. Be the person for that group of people, and it will spread like wildfire. And so it means that you can charge more money, and not in a negative way, because if somebody's got a particular problem, like if I need some brain surgery, I'm not going to go to a GP. I'm not going to go to a general practitioner. And ultimately, it's just as much work, if not less work, to position yourself as the person who solves that niche problem for that group of people, because all your attention, your effort, your energy, your time investment, your money investment goes into one area, rather than I've got some admin stuff to do, I've got some marketing to do, I've got some sales to do, I've got some operations to do, I've got some HR to do, whatever it is in your business. If you're then focusing on marketing on all these different areas, rather than just all of your energy, all of your arrows going to one place, you've got so much more of a better chance of attracting the right people who are going to be not only paying you the fees that you deserve, so no longer dropping your prices to compete, but they're going to be the guys that are calling you up and saying, "Oh, I haven't received the invoice yet, I'm ready to pay," rather than you chasing late fees.
I was talking to a client yesterday, George, on this very thing, and it was music to my ears, because he was telling me that he has a prospective client, and in fact, we could say client, who said to me yesterday, "I will wait 3 years for you. It's you that I want." And we've been talking about his pricing and his positioning and what an expert he is, and he really has. He has elevated himself massively over the last probably 2 years, has massively elevated his mind as well, because it's a mindset thing.
It is a mindset thing.
Because he was like, "Oh, I don't think I could charge that much." And I said, "You are an expert in your field." And he has people now seeking him out.
Yeah.
It's exactly what you've said there.
I'm so glad you've mentioned that, and it does cut everything. Everything comes from mindset. I could give you, or you could give me, the best tactics and strategies in the world. If I don't have the mindset and the confidence to implement that, in the way that I need to implement to get the results, it's pointless. I did a live video that I think it was on Instagram recently. I was in Mexico last month with my family, and we had the breakfast buffet, and I felt compelled to pick up the phone and start recording.
Right.
The message for that video, the takeaway was, what kind of business do you want to be? Like, seriously, what kind of business do you want to be? And start positioning yourself to be that kind of business. Do you want to be a buffet that does all types of food? And even the best buffets in the world are going to be like 50, 100, let's say £200 per person. And that's going to be the best buffet in the world. Versus, and you do a bit of everything, all the different types of food, rather than being a particular type of restaurant that specializes in one thing. So, lobster, or, just known as a steak restaurant, or wherever it is. And then you position yourself as great quality, obviously, because the quality of the food, but your menu is so small and so limited. People come specifically for that food and the experience. And these are the restaurants that not only are charging 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 800, maybe £1,000 per head. They've got a waiting list of 6 months.
Yeah.
What kind of business do you want to be? Talking on that point that you've just mentioned there about, I'll wait 3 years for you.
Yeah.
That's the dream.
Yeah.
That's the business that you want, right?
So he's booked him in for a year, September. He's so busy at the moment. It's a year, September. So now we're looking at building out his business, but that's another subject altogether. But in terms of this positioning of yourself is really important. So I love the S of your cash, that being specialism. I love that. So what's the H, George?
So the H is just bringing heart into it.
Yeah.
Just to keep it as simple as possible. I feel like, again, talking of tactics and strategies and all of that stuff, if your mindset is not right, you're not going to implement and you're not going to get those results. And B, at the end of the day, I mean, we've all heard a million times, people buy people. And, in this modern age of technology and information and, people worried about, is a computer going to take my job and this kind of stuff. Bringing heart into it, making someone feel like you've understood them, you've connected with them, you've taken time with them, bringing that heart into it, human to human, is so powerful. And this is the kind of stuff that leads to longevity of business relationships. Yeah. So the H is heart, and it's about presentation. It's how you present yourself, your business, your products, your services in various different contexts, i.e., how do you present your business if you've just jumped in the famous elevator pitch? There's got to be something that you can say in 10 to 30 seconds that isn't going to sell anything there and then, but understanding the part of the process, which is just to get them to the next phase.
Next step, yeah.
How do you do that? Or, have you got a business card? Or how can I connect with you on Instagram or LinkedIn or whatever it might be? But just to get to that next phase. I also find a lot of people try and rush not only business, but also the sales cycle, the relationship cycle, and just bringing heart into it and understanding that all you need to do at this point is just get to the next phase. So the elevator pitch is a good example. Cold calling, cold calling is got a bad rap because it's done poorly. It's done in a way where generally people will just call up anyone who's got a telephone number and a pulse.
Yeah.
They're calling you at an annoying time. They're being annoying. It's all scripted. There's no heart. There's no, rather than just picking up the phone and saying, look, I understand that the phase one is just to get someone to stay on the phone for 30 to 60 seconds. Phase two is to add some value to then get another couple of minutes. Phase three is to then get to the next point. And it's unlikely that you're going to sell something, but that next point is either going to be another call where both parties understand why, what the intention of that call is. So you've positioned it and, you manage people's expectations. Or it's to book an appointment or whatever, but just being a human being and picking up the phone on a cold call where you're actually calling a target market that you've helped before, that you've got results for, that you can add some value on the phone. I typically work with a lot of trades business owners. So I could pick up the phone to a tradesperson that I get from Yale.com now and just say, look, you don't know me. My name's George. I run a company called GFS. I've got your number from Yale.com. You're an electrician. I typically work with a lot of tradespeople and I help them do 4 things. This could be a game changer for you if you just give me 30 to 60 seconds just to explain how I can add value for free. If at any point you think I'm an idiot and you want to put the phone down, feel free to even swear at me and put the phone down, and then just tell them how I help tradespeople not have to lower their prices to compete, build great, consistent cash flow, not up and down, unpredictable cash flow, how to process drive your business so you can come off the tools, and then how you can grow and scale your business to actually have a sellable business that at some point, if you decide to sell it, you're walking away with a fat lump sum that you can go out and, and live a great life off the back of it, your blood, sweat and tears gone into it. I know from my work with tradespeople since 2006 that at some point they always struggle with those 4 things, sometimes 2 or 3 of them at the same time. So, it's just about understanding who you're speaking to and how you present it with heart, with just human to human.
And I would just like to add there, George, because this is a passion of mine, in that I'm always talking about, this is not about you. It's not about your product or your service. This is about what you can do for others to help them to achieve their objective or to overcome challenges that they've got. And, you can even make it, particularly if you're working in the B2B sector with bigger businesses, and you can find some trigger events that are going on that makes it really personal. what I loved about what you've just said there is, I can help you to come off the tools, put processes in place so you can come off the tools. And these are the sort of things that your market are thinking about. It's,
Yeah.
oh God, I wish I could just come off the tools and bring more people in and expand my business. My son-in-law is doing exactly that at the moment. He's a carpenter builder, and he's looking at how he can come off the tools. He doesn't want to be off altogether because he loves it. But and you can tell from what you're saying there, you've got that absolute understanding. You've got into their shoes.
Do you know what the reality is that you touched on something fantastically important there about it's not about you, as it's about the other person and what they're left with after you've done what you've done as a coach, consultant, trainer, etc. Nobody cares about us, and that's fine, and that's great. No one should care about us. They should care about what they're going to be left with. The reality, I can sit here all day long and talk about my strategies and my system and coming off the tools, which is great, and systemizing and selling the business, but what does that actually mean in real terms? It means that you're more present with your family. It means that you're more patient. It means that you're less likely to have big arguments with your other half. It means that you can spend more time with your family, creating great memories. It means you're going to be less stressed, so you're going to have a happier life. It means so much more. I went to my daughter's, she's turning 4 next month, and she had a graduation from her nursery about 12 days ago. And it was a Wednesday at 2 p.m. I was the only dad there. And that's not to say that, I've got the whole world figured out. Yes, I could work a lot more hours. I could earn an extra few $100,000 a year and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, I've created something that works for me. It might not work for you or the next person, but something that works for me, that allows me to do what I need to do to be the best father, the best husband, the best son, the best brother, the best friend, etc. We need to figure that out, going back to the purpose. What is it that you want? How do you want the world to be? And then how can your actions through the vehicle of your business map to that quickly and consistently as possible? So that's
excellent. So give us the F then, George.
The F is a bit more boring, but probably one of the most important. It's just about the format of your business and effective processes. Because ultimately what you want to be doing is you're building a business, is you want to have less dependence on you as the business owner and more dependence on the process, which means that people come into your business to do business with your business, to do business with you, but they're buying process, they're not always buying you, which means that you're no longer going to be a prisoner to your business, which happens a lot for people where they end up being controlled by their business rather than them controlling their business. Like you probably heard, if you remember from March at Expert Empires, nobody starts their own business to work more hours for less. But it happens way more than it should.
And that's the problem. There are so many people who were so excited, so in love with the idea of starting their own business, and then get a couple of years in and think, I'm actually shackled to this. I'm working way more hours for less than I was earning when I was employed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is a sad situation.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why the process is so important, because effectively you want to be building your intellectual property, your unique system of doing things. This actually in turn adds value to the business anyway. It means that slowly the business isn't as dependent on you, the business owner, the leader of the business. It also means that it's scalable. It's something that's repeatable and replicatable. It also means that as your business grows and scales, when people come into the business, they can follow the process. It also means that your existing team, as that grows as well, they feel more part of it because they can help mold those processes in the system. I've got loads of tools and templates and techniques that just help make business life easier. I've got it in a free Facebook group, so more than happy to share the link with your guys, with your community if they want to access.
That'd be great. What's it called, George?
It's called No Confusions, Just Solutions.
Nice.
Free Facebook. There's going to be a lot of cash flow strategies and tools and templates in there.
Excellent.
Months go on. The L is about leverage. So how do you leverage people? And this comes in the guise of your existing team, whether you outsource or whether they're in-house. How you leverage referral partners, and then getting more business in of the ideal type of business you want, and then also leveraging clients as well, in the best way possible. An example of that for me would be that typically when clients work with me, they've got a couple of different options in terms of how often they have access to me and whether they want to take up a case study offer, which is a slightly reduced price on the basis that they're going to, at some point in the next 1, 2, or 3 months of us working together, they're going to get great results. As soon as they get great results, they give me a video testimonial. I can then turn that into a written testimonial, a visual testimonial, video testimonial. I then feed that back into my business machine, and I've created a formula that those video testimonials, when formatted in the right way and shared in the right places, they just attract a lot more business as well. And then the O is the opportunities in your business. And the best way to take advantage of the opportunities that are available and how you can create opportunities is about how you project. And this is about the cash flow management and creating sustainable cash flow and maintaining it and building it for the future. That also adds value to the business as well. Some of the things that I recommend all businesses do, if their business model allows for it. If it doesn't, then if it doesn't initially, then try and create it, is to have people on retainers. And then to have that retainer money come in on the first of the month, because that financially, that's the best start to any month that you're going to get. Then also have all of your expenses come out on the 10th of every month. So then you've got that 9-10 day window from the 1st to the 10th of money coming in, just in case someone misses the 1st of the month, or you've got a Sunday or a bank holiday or something and the money hasn't come in until the Tuesday or whatever. And then that by the 11th of the month, all the money that's left in your account is yours. You could potentially have more money, some one-off money, or other things that revenue streams that you can incorporate in there as well. But ultimately, it allows you to start planning for the rest of the month, where you've got 2/3 of the month, 20 odd days, where it allows you to see what's going on, forecast for the future for that month or for the quarter, reinvest money into your business, or take money out and so you can live the life that you need. Because ultimately, yes, our businesses are there to solve problems for our clients, but they should be there as a close second to serve you and your business. You and your family. So you're not just a servant, and your family aren't making sacrifices for your business indefinitely for the next 30, 40 years.
And I know I often hear people say, particularly selling B2B, business to business, they'll say, but you have to wait for 90 days or more to get your invoice paid. And in actual fact, that's not true. You arrange your terms of engagement right at the beginning. And, when I very first started, I still do always at least 50% up front. If I'm working on a big project, it's 50% up front. And it used to be I would do stage payments then as we went through the project. Very often now I will do 50% up front, 50% once I start. But even if I am putting invoices in, the arrangement is that it is paid on receipt. So it's how you set your terms of engagement right out at the beginning of the project. And you've got to have the confidence in yourself to do that, because otherwise, then you will be in the lap of the gods as to when they put the payments through for you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's how you manage people's expectations. If you tell people that's how they can do business with you, then it is what it is. For the same reasons that I get frustrated for tradespeople, that people feel like they can bring them down on price, but you wouldn't go to Sainsbury's or Tesco's or Waitrose and say, I'm going to take this milk, but I'll give you the money next week after I've drank it and I'm happy with it. Or it's just how you manage the expectations.
And actually, I'd just like to spend a couple of moments on this discounting, because that's another area where people, first of all, they talk about the product too soon without understanding their client and really having a deeper conversation to find out where they are, what they where they want to be, what their challenges are, the impact of the challenges and the financial impact of the challenges. Because I always say no one will spend 500,000 if they think they've got a £500 problem. So you've got to identify that. but the problem that I see is that people are talking about the product too soon. So they're not doing that discovery, that, you know, a real deep discovery. And so what happens is they get into a price war.
Yep.
And then they feel that they have to discount. But my view on that is I absolutely hate it, because I feel that if it's been done to me, I feel I'm being duped. If when I ask for a discount, they say, "Oh yeah, well go on then, we'll give you however much off," and I think, well, if I hadn't asked, you wouldn't have done that.
Yep.
So, but you know, morally, I think you should value your own worth. I don't think that you should be going in unless that is your absolute strategy, that you say, because it's always a I will if you will. Yes, I can discount if we increase the numbers, or if we increase the length of the project, or if we add another part into this project, whatever. So they're my views. What are your views on this, George?
I agree with you. I'm not a fan of discounting, and I specifically help tradespeople and a lot of other business owners position themselves so they don't have to reduce their prices. In fact, actually ethically increase their prices. Mm-hmm. An emphasis on the word ethically. Now, I do offer a discount contrarily, and this is quite funny that obviously I'm giving you one example and then the complete opposite. I do it not to compete. So it's not as if I've never had a situation, touch wood, where someone says, look, I'm actually looking at two business consultants, you and someone else. They're saying it's this price, you're saying it's that price, which is more expensive. Can you do anything? I've actually never had that conversation before, ever. But what I do recognize is there's an exercise that, again, will be in the Facebook group, which is basically it's a marketing matrix, a marketing money matrix. And what it does is it's a short exercise that basically spits out how much all the different marketing or business development activities that one does in their business. Mm-hmm. And then you give everything a score based on how much time you spend on it, how much money you spend on it per year, how many inquiries you get from it, what type of inquiries. So you score the quality of the inquiry. Yeah. You then also score how many of those convert into actual clients, and then how easy that conversion was. So you basically, it highlights for you which of all of your marketing activities are the most efficient and effective.
Excellent.
And the point being is that, you know, we've heard you have to speculate to accumulate. You do have to invest money in your business to grow, beginning and end. So me knowing exactly how much my client acquisition cost is, mm-hmm. and also inquiry acquisition cost is, if I reduce my fee for someone who's committed to working with me for the next 12 months, for example, I know that just by they're going to get great results. They're going to get great results, A, because I wouldn't take the client on if I didn't feel like I could absolutely get them to where they need to be. B, the system speaks for itself. The results, I've got multiple video testimonials over the last few years that are all over social media. And also, if somebody implements all of the advice that I give them and they still don't get the results they want or don't get any results, then I'm going to give them all their money back. Mm-hmm. So building that into my system, I know that if I give someone an incentive to sign up for a year, and then typically what happens is they'll end up paying for the whole year in advance, which again is great for cash flow from my point of view. Mm-hmm. But it also means that they're committed, like really, like the next level of commitment. And within 1 to 3 months, they've already got a really great win that they want to shout about. So I get that video testimonial and I feed it back into my business. That alone is worth a lot more than any marketing spend that I spend anywhere else. Mm-hmm. Just having that, and I'm just sending it organically, just based on the following that I've built up on Instagram and Facebook, and now building LinkedIn. That video testimonial, kind of like adapted in the right way, will bring in a number of inquiries just like that, of qualified people who aren't hearing me pumping out content all the time. They're hearing it from the horse's mouth.
Yeah.
I was skeptical. I thought George might have been expensive. I wasn't sure if he was going to get me the results I wanted. You know, I took a leap of faith. I was very uncomfortable with it. And then within 2.5 months, not only did I make my money back for the entire year, I was up 10 grand, or, you know, I've been working with George for 6 months and I've doubled my business, or I've been working with George for 2.5 years, and we've gone from 100 grand a year to 700 grand a year. I'm actually giving you examples of actual clients, a lot of trades guys and other businesses. So although, going back to the point, I'm not a fan of discounting for the sake of discounting. I am a fan of tweaking things as long as you, the business owner, are getting something as well. And typically what happens is, not only do I get the video testimonials, but I get multiple of them, and I also plant the seed of them referring me other clients as well. Very simply, at the end of the conversation, when someone says either I do want to work with you or I don't, it's more likely, statistically speaking, that people say, yeah, I'm ready to go. How do we start? When do we make payment? All that kind of stuff. In that conversation, I'm saying, who else do you know that you believe should be working with me as well? And it gets people to start thinking, well, actually, I've got the guy down the road, carpenter, he wants the tools, that kind of stuff. And then before you know it, you've got another 2 or 3 people that are going to hear from a person that is completely just bought into you. They're committed for the next 12 months. They've seen, it's just, it means that your marketing spend decreases slightly because you're using the system. Ultimately, that increases your bottom line profit as well.
And in a way, because I think what you're saying is that if they pay monthly, they pay one amount, but if they pay for 12 months, they get it at a lower price. So it's not 12 times the monthly. No. But that's your charging structure.
Yeah.
So, and I'm with that 100%. I think that's a great way to do it.
Interestingly, there's 2 things that have come out of this conversation, or there's loads of things, but on this point is you need to be fully aware of how much you charge for a result and how much that problem is worth solving. So you can't charge 5 grand for a £500 problem. But it also works the other way as well. You have to be very fully aware of your market. I had a potential client I was speaking with yesterday evening, and he was talking to me about this new idea that he's got. And I asked him 2 questions. One was, do you believe that there's a market for this product, for this service? He said, yeah, absolutely. And I was like, okay, how? Talk me through it. So he gave me some examples. I said, okay, great. Next question. Does your target market know that they've got this problem? Because it might be all good and well you knowing that they've got this problem, but if they don't feel they've got the problem, then why would they pay you to solve a problem that you're telling them they've got, but they don't believe that they've got it? So you have to identify what's the problem in the marketplace and what's that problem worth in your mind. Does the target market that you're aiming for, that you can help, acknowledge that that is a problem and it's a problem worth solving? And do they also know what the problem is worth to them as well? Because by the same token, this is not to manipulate how you charge, and just because someone is turning over 5 million versus 500 grand, but understand your target market, and also understand that if you approach someone with a solution that is going to save them or make them multiple millions, you can't be charging £200 because that person won't take you seriously. And I know that could be quite controversial, what I've just said there, because yes, everyone should be being treated equally, and it comes back down to understanding your market. So hopefully that makes sense.
No, that's great, absolutely great. So what's the W then, George?
W is the win, is the big win. So it's the big payoff. Every single one of my clients, whether they realize it or not, or whether they want it or not, is when they work with me at any level, we are working on building the business as if we're going to sell it. They may never sell it, I don't care. But the point is that if we build a business with the mindset that we're going to sell this one day, it's less dependent on you, like we said. It's more process driven. People are buying into the system. You will build it and manage it and nurture it in a completely different way than you would if you're literally just trying to make ends meet to pay the bills at the end of the month. It's a completely different mindset. The analogy that I like to use with this example is, if I want to sell my car and I put an advert on Auto Trader, and you give me a call saying, hi George, I've seen your advert, can I come and see your vehicle tomorrow evening? If I get the car cleaned and serviced before you turn up tomorrow night, you turn up it's gleaming, so it looks good, for great first impression, and then you turn the key in the ignition and it purrs, you take it for a drive and you love it. Even if you decide never to make an offer and never buy it, I'm now left with a cleaner, more efficient car. It's just been serviced. The same thing with business as well. If you build it as if I'm going to sell it to that person who I respect, how can I put this business in the best position possible for them? So if they bought it on a Friday afternoon, open up business on a Monday, how can I make it seamless that they can start making their money back as quickly as possible on that investment?
Yeah.
It's a completely different mindset.
Yeah. And we've talked about mindset a number of times, haven't we, George? It's the foundation of everything. It will allow you to move forward, or it will paralyze you into inaction and you'll stand still.
Exactly right.
Yeah, fantastic. I absolutely love that that acronym, George, this cash flow. I think it's brilliant. And I have heard you speak on it, and hence why I asked you if you would come on as a guest today. And
I appreciate that. I mean, you asked me before we went live about, why did I even set this up?
Yeah.
And I've mentioned already that cash flow for me is the most important thing. My background is in insolvency, helping businesses get out of debt or go through that process. And it doesn't, not to take anything away from, obviously you need great marketing. Obviously you need a sales process, because how are you going to get clients on board? Obviously you have to have really efficient operations and processes to deliver the products and services, the results, right? And you need to manage your money. For me, the reason cash flow is the most important is because everything else is a prerequisite, as in it's a given that you have to do the other things to be able to get great cash flow. But I've dealt with so many businesses that are turning over 5, 10, 12 million, 100 million, a few hundred million. And clearly they had decent marketing to attract inquiries. Clearly they were good at sales because their sales are in the hundreds of millions, but yet they still went bust. Because you can still have great marketing, great sales, great operations, great HR, great this, great that, great brand, and still go bust. But if you've got great cash flow, you can't go bust. You can't fail. So that's why, for me, talking about KPIs, a lot of people talk about key performance indicators. The most important key performance indicator has to be how much money have you banked today. Yeah. Everything else is just the activity to get to that key KPI, that key KPI. Yeah.
So what would your one piece of advice be for the audience that are listening to ensure that they have healthy cash flow? I know we've broken all of this down, which is great, but what's the key element that people need to focus on?
Yeah, I'll give you sort of like three. One main one is, if you focus on banking money every single day, you cannot go wrong. It'd be very difficult, very, very difficult. Let me just rephrase that actually. It'd be very, very difficult for you to go wrong, because you know that for you to bank money every single day, you need to be understanding, what you're doing and why. So there's the purpose there. Understanding who you can help the most, what problems you solve, who it is that suffers with those problems and when. So you turn up at the right time. You can position yourself as the go-to person. You can present with heart, because you're focused on not you, but them and their result. And it's all about them. It's never about you, like you said. And that you understand that there's a sales cycle, understanding within that there's three types of people. There's someone who's ready, willing, and able to buy with their money in their hand. There's a person who's interested in what you've got, but it's not urgent for them. And there's a person who you're just not on their radar for whatever reason. You have to have something of value to offer every one of those three people, because if you're too aggressive with your sales approach, then you're only going to get that one person out of those three, the person who's ready, willing, and able with their money in their hand to buy. But if you've got something of value, like we've spoken about with the cold calling, the elevator pitch, the speaking on stages, pumping out content to your target market, you're adding value up front. Lead magnets, free guides, PDFs. How to solve a small problem, so when someone gets a bigger problem, you're the first person they think of. But you need something of value to move the person who is interested, but it's not urgent, and the person who's just not interested at all, to move them one step along the buying cycle by adding value. If you focus on banking money every single day, you've got to do those other things to get to the place where you're banking money every single day. But ultimately, to keep it even more simple, focus on banking money every single day and know that there's 3 things that you can be doing to be banking money every single day. And that is chasing outstanding invoices if you've let it get to that stage, making follow-up calls for people that have made an inquiry, and building out your pipeline. You know, and having people like you around that can help your community, the people that follow you, to build out that pipeline and close the sales, but understanding that closing the sale doesn't mean you getting really happy and excited because someone says, yeah, I'm going to use you. Hold that happiness and excitement without sounding like a killjoy. Hold that happiness and excitement until the money has hit your bank account.
Absolutely, yeah. Over my many years of being in sales and marketing, I used to be a financial advisor, and then I was regional sales director for a financial services company. And the number of people who had the briefcases full of might be's, full of maybes. Yeah. Oh, I've got some great stuff on the go. It's never a client until it's a client and it's paid and it's banked.
Yeah, and you see,
and if I can just add to that, even George, if you look at this from the other side as well, if you don't help someone to make that decision, you are leaving them open to all of the problems that they've got. So they're still going to continue with the problems that you could have solved, or that you're not helping them towards achieving their targets, their goals, their objectives. So sometimes I'm like a record going round and round and over again, but it is people's duty to give people the opportunity to say yes or no, not right now, but then to help them to go over that line.
Yeah, it's the puzzle.
Yes.
You can't fully serve someone and solve their problem and help someone if you don't follow the process all the way to the end.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So lastly, George, tell us, if you were to think back to your younger self with the experience and knowledge that you've got now, what would you be telling your younger self? What that one thing?
The one thing would be get a mentor, a coach, or a consultant as soon as possible. The reason I say that, I mean, there's loads of things I could say. That would be the one thing for me. I feel very much like an alpha male. You know, who am I to, go and see a business coach or a consultant or a mentor? I'll figure out myself. I'm going to do it. Go to someone who has walked that path already and is helping people get great results down that avenue already, and have a safety net for it as well. I don't see why other coaches and consultants can't keep it as simple as possible and say, look, I'll help you get from here to there, as long as you implement everything that we discuss and we agree. And if you don't get there, you can have your money back. That's exactly what I do. I don't believe I should be successful if my clients aren't successful.
Yeah.
So get someone that can. Here's a great quote from Les Brown. How does it go? You can't see the entire picture when you're in the frame.
Yeah.
And for me, that is such a potent quote, because, for the same reasons that, I could say to my wife, or she could say to me, how does this dress look from behind, or, whatever it is, because you can't see that. There's certain things that people who are in this space can identify things, spot things, navigate things, prevent things before they happen. Anyone can be there when things are going well.
Yeah.
But having someone there that can help you get back on the horse where you just experienced some rejection or lost a client, or there's some cash flow issues, or, whatever it is, it's actually more about, I know a lot of the time we invest our money to get a great result, but a lot of the time it's actually to how to get over a particular problem.
Yeah.
And I believe that people will invest more money or move quicker to get away from a problem or remove some pain rather than pleasure.
Yeah. And it's really interesting that you say that, in terms of bringing, I've nearly choked myself there with my thing. A number of years ago, I was at a conference and I heard Sir Chris Hoy talking, and the gold medalist in the cycling in the velodrome. He said, I wasn't born an Olympic gold medalist. I was an 8-year-old boy who got a BMX bike. And he said, I joined the cycling club. And he said, and my coach, when he said all of the lads were there, and my coach gave us all paper and pens and said, right, I want you to write down your vision. What's your dream? What do you want to achieve? He said, and I wrote down that I wanted to be a gold medalist in the Olympics. He said, all my mates laughed. But he said, my coach didn't. And he said, without my coach, I wouldn't be where I am today.
100%. The most successful people, and obviously your definition and my definition of success could be completely different, but the most successful people in anybody's measurements, metrics, has either an advisor or a team of advisors. And they might come in different guises, but ultimately any successful person that has affected lives, created something, built a legacy, helped people, achieved greatness, has had someone that they confide in. Whatever guise that takes.
The other thing that he said that I absolutely loved was that he talked about marginal gains. He said, because he said, once I got the process, and it's knowing the process, of course, he said, once I got the process, it was then about fine-tuning and making a marginal gain in each one of those areas. And again, he couldn't have done that without his coach.
Exactly right.
George, this has been fantastic. I could talk to you for hours. So tell us where our audience might get in touch with you.
Yeah, interestingly, so the thing that I mentioned about the greatest cash flow that you can possibly have and how to build that is just focus on banking money every single day. The two other things are, if you want some consistent cash flow systems, tools, advice, templates, then you can go over to Facebook if you've got an account and search No Confusions, Just Solutions, and then hit the tab that says groups, and then you'll see the group. Request to join the group, and then you'll get a whole host of free stuff in there and some ongoing cash flow advice and stuff there. The company's GFS Solutions. You can also follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and George Fedossi, or on LinkedIn, where you get every day. There's daily business tips that are going out there. I've probably got about 15 hours worth of content on there.
That's everything, I think. Maybe an email. You could give us an email. And then
my personal email is george@GFS, as in Golf Foxtrot Sierra, gfssolutions.co.uk.
Perfect. George, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you for your time. I really appreciate the opportunity, and hopefully we'll stay in touch and see.
Yes, indeed.
Moving forward. I really appreciate you, Dilys. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thanks, George. Bye for now.
Have a great day. Take care.